Rashawn.
Welcome. Day number 5 of the 5-day listing challenge. I want to tell you how freaking amazing you are. And here's what's going to happen. There's going to be about another 20 people are going to log in here in a second. And we want them to know that you're the amazing ones because you're here right now. But don't tell them I'm talking behind their back when they join us. Okay. Is that a deal? All right. Day number 5 of the 5-day listing challenge. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this all up. I'm going to go back through and I'm going to tell you about the a review of what we've learned so far this week. By the way, my name is Dan Roshan, and I help real estate agents have no broke months. And so today, on day 5, we're going to review the step-by-step process that we've gone through this entire week. I'll be able to answer some questions for you. At 1 o'clock, I've got a very special guest that's going to be joining us for the CPI Thought Leaders Mastermind. And he's going to be talking to us about about how to be able to accommodate the current market economy, and what you can, some tactics on what you can do to be able to have some ammunition about creative financing and ways for your buyers, and maybe even for yourself, that you can use to be able to purchase property. Terry, I just struggled to find you on Facebook. Thank you for being here, and I just sent you a video message. Thank you for your video message to me. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, I'd love to hear your ahas, your feedback, your experience over this week. Who'd like to share? And questions as well. We've got a small group today, so questions can be completely fine. And if you have your video off, please turn it on if you can. Please and thank you. Who's got a question? Who's got a comment? Who's got something to share? An experience. What you guys got?
May I?
Yes, you may, sir. I love your manners.
So I really like the way that you present. I mean, your content is by far above most of the presenters that I have looked at. I am searching for, I'm retooling my entire marketing. So I really appreciate what you're showing here. And I just think it helps me formulate things that I've heard in the past. Yeah, I do have a lot of experience. I do I've been out of the market for a couple of years because of health issues. And so I think the coach part, I've avoided this in the past, but I think the coaching part is a critical item.
Well, if you'd like to have a conversation about how I can help you, Les will put a link in there. Let's have a one-on-one conversation about that, okay?
All right. Yep, thanks.
All right, for Dexter. Hello, Tanika. Hello, Terry. Hello, TC. Jennifer, Kathleen, Brianna. Oh, that's Brianna's Otterbot. That's Brianna. Let's see who's here. Who's next? Who'd like to share? What are your ahas? What are your options? TC, what you got?
I just want to say it's been terrific to listen to you all weekend. You have excellent ideas. Not anything new, really. It's just you remind me of the importance of consistency. So thank you.
Sure. You're welcome. And I'm not teaching anything new. Thank you, TC. I'm not teaching anything new, but I am teaching something, or concepts rather, that I've taken 15 years of intense study of. They say it takes you 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. I'm in the 30 or 40 or 50,000 hour mark on this type of content.
It's when you're being ill to set you back. When you're
say it again.
Falling off anytime you have a problem health-wise and you get out of the routine of consistency.
Yeah.
So I think, and your honesty is wonderful.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And you are right. If you get knocked off, it's sort of like, okay, so I go to the gym, and not everybody does, right? But I think we can all imagine this. And I haven't always, by the way. I was watching that video before the preview video, and I'm saying to Les, she's on a different channel. So she and I are talking, like I can hear her, and she, of course, can hear me through this. I was like, man, I look horrible there. I look so fat. And so anyway, so I do go to the gym regularly, right? But let's say I'm traveling and I don't go to the gym for a week and a half. Boy, let me tell you, that next journey, that next time at that gym, that is tough. That is tough. It's not tough when you go, right? It won't be tough. I'll be at the gym with my trainer at 4 o'clock today. That won't be hard. Won't be hard at all because I went yesterday and the day before and the day before. But if I take off a week and a half, 2 weeks, ooh, forget about it. And I think that business can be said of the same, right? So if you unexpectedly, particularly if it's unexpectedly have to stop the consistency, then that could be a challenge for sure. Getting back up and running, but you can do it. You can do it. And when you get back up and running, it's easier if you have a history of doing it. Now, if you've never done it before, it can still be done. It'd still be done. Just like I would never forget that guy over on Old Town. I did a 30-minute workout with him. And I'll never forget heaving and wanting to throw up and vomit. It was 30 minutes. I'm like, how could this happen in 30 minutes? It's too short of a time. And that was my first workout probably 15 years ago. So this definitely can be done. All right, who's next? Thank you, TC. Thank you for sharing. Who'd like to share about your experience, questions, ahas, successes, struggles? Who'd like to share next? Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started then. Let me answer this question. So where can we get the pre-listing packet, and would you use the ladder system for FSBO now? Marv got an appointment and we'll meet a FSBO tomorrow. We're excited to take action and apply what we learn. Kisleen and Marv, for sale by owner, the framework that I gave you on day 3, which is the 13 steps of what to do before you go on the appointment. That's not what you're going to do for the for sale by owner. You would do that for the for sale by owner after you solicit after you sort of get in relationship with them. And so what you have to understand is that framework that I gave you guys is like this. Okay, but the first start here is you've got to identify a qualified prospect. All right, so you've not yet, if you're going for FSBOs, you've identified a qualified prospect, but they're not interested in you at all. So to be able to get to here, which was that framework that I taught on Wednesday, which is what I believe that you're what you're asking about. And by the way, Leslie sent in Kisleen the things that you order, the for sale by owner kit and the ladder system. She's sending that all over to you right now, by the way. And so, but to be able to get from here, which is the bottom of that framework, you have to first, with the for sale by owners, you have to first get to a different outcome, which is relationship. Okay, so where you're at now is you're a floor below that. You're at the floor right now where you have a goal to get the top of your stairs, and the top of your stairs is a relationship. Once you get that relationship, and then they express interest in potentially hiring you, then you start at the bottom of that framework that we went through over Wednesday, which is then you send them the video text, you send them the calendar invitation, you send them the emails, etc. Does that make sense? Okay, hopefully it makes sense. And if you want to review that, you can go back to the CPI training portal, which will show you a little bit more about that as well. Okay, because Lean says she's got it. All right, fantastic. Make sure Marv has that as well. If you guys need some, you're welcome. If you guys need some help, please let me know. All right, so let's go through. Are you adapting? Because for you to succeed, you're going to have to adapt. For you to succeed, you're going to have to understand what worked in the past does not necessarily work today. In fact, today, it's so vital that you follow a system, that you learn a system, that you follow a system. Because if you don't, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that AI follows a system? Do you think that the algorithms on Google follow a system? Do you think that Zillow follows a system? What do you guys think? You think yes, maybe? Would everyone say, yeah, that's probably true? A multi-billion-dollar company, yeah, they're following a system. You know what the system of Zillow is? Let me advertise to weak agents and get them to pay for me to build my business, and then let me put them out of business. That's Zillow's plan. I laugh, but it's so true. So if you're not adapting to what's going on in the marketplace today, then you're going to struggle. And that's the unfortunate reality. You're going to struggle in this business. And so what do I mean by adapting? What I mean by adapting is embracing technology. Don't let technology replace you. Yet, when you can continue with your fiduciary care, when you can continue with your ability to be able to care for people, to be able to relate with people, to be able to be empathetic with people, to be able to guide people, and then you enhance that with technology, with tools, with artificial intelligence. When you enhance that, then you can position yourself so that you can be able to outcompete your competition. There's a system. Leslie, can you find this system for me if you could ever? The AI technology that we use. Yeah, the AI technology we use. We just placed it onto the cheap listing tools. Let's put that out there. So there's technology available right now. I'm going to share a link with you of one that I recommend that you consider. You could try it out for free I think they let you try out for free for a week or two, where basically they will tell you when your database is getting ready to make a purchase. They'll tell you, and they'll cultivate it until you're ready to rock and roll. So Les will find that information for us, and she'll put it in there. So you have got to adapt. You've got to use technology. You've got to be able to understand that right now it is vital. So this past week, let's put this all together. We discovered, why are you a real estate agent and what's important to you about that? I'd like for you to share with me, what did you come up with? We've got a small enough group today. What did you come up with? Excuse me while I plug my computer in. What did you come up with during that conversation on Monday? Why do you sell real estate and what's important to you about that? Who'd like to share?
May I?
Yes, please.
So you have to live somewhere unless you're going to live in a tent. And even if you live in a tent, it has to be on property. So you better learn something about real estate.
Okay. I love it.
But I like helping people solve problems. You know, I am a problem solver. Through my entire life, I've tried to solve other people's problems, usually in technology, programming and stuff like that. But solving problems.
Solving problems. And what's important to you about solving problems?
Well, helping other people.
And what does that do for you?
I don't know. I just like doing it. I feel good, you know, when I've helped somebody else. I'd rather help somebody else than myself, I guess, is the bottom line.
Okay. So feeling good about yourself when you're able to help somebody else solve their problems or achieve their goals is something that causes you to take action. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Who else? Who's next? Who discovered why you sell real estate and what's important to you about that, and who would like to be willing to share?
I will.
Okay, TC, what you got?
Sure. I've been selling real estate. First, it was to support myself and my children, but I continue to sell it because it's a great way to set aside retirement funds and set the goal to retire in a reasonable amount of time instead of waiting until I'm 82, like a lot of my friends in real estate.
So Being able to retire in a reasonable amount of time, what would that do for you?
I'm still gonna be an investor in real estate. I'm going to
Mhm.
enjoy my passive income.
Okay.
But I plan to travel, of course, and move far away from my children so that I don't have to say, no, I don't want to babysit.
Okay. All right. So freedom, travel, enjoyment of your time. Do I understand that correctly?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. 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 Now stay present to that, right? Who's next? Why are you a real estate agent? Who discovered why is it that you're a real estate agent? Why are you doing what you do today?
I'll go.
Okay. What is your name?
Sean.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Is it coming up Krillit?
Well, I was pretty sure your name wasn't Krillit. I mean, I was just making a guess, Sean.
Yeah, because I texted you guys that I don't know how to change it on my phone. That's weird.
It's cool.
I don't know why.
Oh, you just changed it. You just changed it.
How did I change it?
Leslie changed it.
Oh.
Never mind. It just got changed.
Well, if you go into settings, you can change it in settings.
I just
Yeah,
couldn't figure it
Leslie
out
did.
on my damn phone. So
It's all good. So
Anyway.
Sean, so why do you make sales? Why do you sell real estate?
because I really don't see another option for me.
Mm,
I don't think I can work a regular job right now, nor do I want to work a real job, because working a 9 to 5 actually was more like a 5 to 10.
mhm.
Pretty much killed me, like literally killed me. So I don't want to go back to that life. I can't go back to that life.
Put that in a freaking bottle. Put that in a bottle and put that up on a shelf.
No, it is. Trust me.
Yeah, because that keeps you going.
That's why I wake up.
Yep. Yeah, Sean, you and I are very much alike, where I tell people I am unemployable.
Yep.
I am unemployable. And employee-minded people, employee-minded people don't understand when I say that. I also tell people that I am unemployed. Consider that as a perspective.
No, I just tell people I'm self-employed.
No, I tell them I'm unemployed because I've got to go find business today.
We got you.
Every morning I wake up unemployed. Every morning I go find a job.
That's kind of a mind screw. I get it.
Yep. I am unemployed at 6 a.m. By 5 p.m., I want to have found employment. I want you guys to think about that perspective.
I like that.
Who's next? Why do you sell real estate?
I'll go.
Tanika. Go ahead, Tanika.
And it's kind of interesting because I always write this every time I do something, my why, and break down everything. And it changes, the wording changes, but it always be the same thing. So it's kind of interesting because sometimes I don't look back to what I wrote until after I write down and dissect it. So it's kind of interesting. But I sell real estate to provide for my family, which means that I can create the life of abundance and building financial freedom and future wealth with no stress.
Tanika, tell us, what does providing for your family? Be more specific with that, if you could, please. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I have just got my daughter through college and then my son. So it's very important to me to put my kids through college without any college debt. Basically, I didn't have any because I worked jobs that paid for my college. So I wanted them to have the opportunity to make sure that they have no college debt. So that's my main focus. I got 2 more years with my son, and then the rest is my money.
And what will that do for you for real?
It would
Imagine before you answer that question, I want you to imagine you're 80 years old.
Mhm.
I want you to imagine looking back on your life. You're sitting in a rocking chair. You're contemplating. You're thinking about that you were able to put your kids through school? How's that make you feel?
It makes me feel accomplished because then I know that hopefully I've showed them the way so that they can provide for their kids. And my goal is to create generational wealth because there's so many, as a realtor, we see a lot of families that are, struggling. They stretch themselves. They don't live within their means. So it's very important to, show my kids the way on how to be financially responsible, is what I would say.
Okay. Danica, put that in a bottle and keep focus on it, okay?
Yep.
You're amazing. On Tuesday, we went through and we looked at options of how to sell real estate. We talked about what is your superpower, and we chose your way. You chose your way. So I want to have a conversation around this for a few minutes. And if you didn't talk during that first part of the conversation, I invite for you to do so now. What is your superpower and what is your way? So it's really simple. In real estate sales, it's about identifying, why am I doing this? Now that I identify why I'm doing this, now how can I do this? So there's 1,000 different options of how you could do it. They all work. Well, of those options, which of those resonates? Which of those connects with my way of being? Which of those connects with my superpower? Because if it's anything outside of that, you're going to, at worst, struggle, and at best, succeed, but not as effectively as you could. So if you consider that, the question that I have of you is, have you identified your superpower? And have you identified your way? Who's identified your superpower and who's identified your way? Who's still struggling with that? Because if you're still struggling with that, let's figure it out right now. And if you've already figured it out, I'd love to hear you share. Who'd like to share? Go ahead.
I guess my superpower is empathizing and listening to others.
Okay.
And
Now, how do you use that in real estate sales?
so I use that in listings to help people. Sometimes people think they want to sell, but they're not ready to sell. And
Okay.
I'm willing to listen and put that into perspective. And sometimes we wait to list a couple months until they're actually ready.
Good.
And for buyers, sometimes I have to reach out to other investors to help them find homes that are off market, especially this year.
Let me ask you a different question, if I may, TC.
Okay.
How do you use that superpower of yours to find business?
I don't ever wait for something to come to me. I reach out and keep in touch with people. And so a lot of my business is referral, but if I'm slow, I will look at other avenues.
Okay. And what other avenues could you align your superpower with?
You can, well, I've done it for years. I go to distressed property owners and find what their real need is to move them out of the house and sell it either before it gets listed or listed.
Love it. So that is a tactic that can align with TC's superpower of being empathetic and listening. So now, when you get clear on why, you get clear on how. Now the only thing that's left is to then go do. Does that make sense to you? But if you choose not to do, then you got to go look back at that why, and you have to be realistic with yourself. Was I true to myself when I said that? For me, it's to be a worthy father. For me, if I don't work today, ultimately that means that now, of course, we take planned time off and all that type of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my schedule, my 5 days a week on working weeks. If I choose not to do my job today, then ultimately I'm saying I don't care if I'm a worthy dad or not. Because what happens? If I choose not to do my job today, by the way, what's your job? Who remembers your job, by the way? CPI time. There's 5 things. Who could share what your job description is? Okay, I want you to write this down right now, because if you don't know your job description, you're very unlikely to do your job. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so here's your job description. Number 1 is to find business, lead generate. Number 2 is to convert that business to meet with you. Number 3 is to meet with those people so you get hired and show homes. Number 4 is to negotiate. Number 5 is to practice your script and role play. That's your job description. Okay. Now, when you have clarity on your job description, you have it written down, you have it in front and center. And then you have clarity on why you're doing what you're doing. You've got that written down. You've got that front and center. I'm doing what I do so that I can be a worthy dad. Why is it important for me to be a worthy dad? I don't say this publicly often, but the group's small enough. Because my dad was shit. And I don't want to be him. All right. So when I have that perspective and I know, okay, here's my choice, Dan. You go do your job today during your working days. That's those 5 things. And when you do your job, you'll create the results that then you can serve your daughter so that you can then call yourself worthy. But if you choose not to do your job today, then you're saying whatever it is that you're not doing your job, whether if it's going on Facebook, whether it's creating brochures or pamphlets or flyers, or even doing CMAs. What you're saying is that's more important than being a worthy dad. So for you, this is how this all starts to get tied up. You guys all follow me on this? You okay? Am I confronting anybody? Am I confronting anybody? Yes, no. Yes, no. Or I don't know. That's probably, you guys are all okay? Yes? Okay. I have to try harder then. No, I'm just joking. All right. So who else found your way? Who else discovered how will you make sales and align that with your superpower? Who'd like to share?
Hello.
Hello, Terry.
May I go?
Let's go, Terry, and then you may go. Thank you for volunteering.
For me, I think I'm still trying to find my way.
Okay.
I struggle with a lot of things as far as like personal being for myself. So like I was saying earlier in the class is that like I thought my why were my children and they are part of my why, but I have to get out of my own way. And I still think I'm always short selling myself. So trying to figure out my superpower, like I even asked my kids, I was like, what do you think my superpower is? They were looking at me like I was crazy. But then I started explaining what I meant. So both of my children at separate times were saying, like, I'm a multitasker and I'm a loving person and I try and like, I'm the rock for the family. So being a single mother, the reason why I get into real estate, the first reason why I got into real estate, because I was at a rock bottom, like debt was coming out the yin yang. And I was just seeing like, well, people are making money in real estate. So let me try this and see if it works. And actually, when I sold my first house, I was like, I love the fact that I was able to help somebody else put a smile on their face. And that made me feel good when that happened. And every time I did it, I was like, a part of me just said, this is what I like. And I like creating my own schedule. I don't like working to the drumbeat of somebody else's schedule. Like I can plan everything and still fit my time in with my children. And my children, they would go on every appointment that I had. They'd ride right with me and go to my appointments with me. So I still think though I struggle on my why, and I know why I want to sell real estate because I love the business itself and I love being out there in the field, but trying to figure out how to get that business to come to me or me go get that business is where I'm stuck.
If you could guess a way that you would most resonate with, what would that way be?
I guess if I guess one of the things I think I'm better behind the scene than in front of people. I think
Okay.
like if I do the phone, like I can actually have my script in front of me, so I'm more confident than when I am in front of somebody. I think when I'm in front of somebody, the nerves kick in and I just
Okay.
get tongue-tied on what it is that I'm talking about.
Okay. So being on the phone is something that you could do.
Mhm.
Who could you call?
I could once I get talking, I could call anybody. And once I open up and get that person to start talking, like I could talk, especially when it's something that I'm sure of that I could talk for hours.
Okay. Okay. So then if we had a targeted list of people that you could call, you could talk to anybody, would you call that targeted list of people?
Yes.
Okay, so now how do we get the targeted list of people? So let's go into some categories here. You've got expired listings, you've got for sale by owners, you've got landlords, you've got people who've lived in their homes for 30 plus years. So each one of those people is a targeted prospect. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Right? Like a landlord's going to be more likely to buy or sell a home than, you know, a 35-year-old young family that's been in their home for 2 years. Okay. So now of those 4 that I gave you, which of those 4 do you resonate with most? Or maybe it could be more than one of those.
Probably the landlord.
Okay. So then let me give you a script on calling landlords. And I think that's Gabriel. We need a mute there. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, is this Terry?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. This is Dan Roshan. I'm a local real estate investor, and I'm also a real estate broker. Am I calling you at a bad time?
No, you're fine.
I was calling you about 123 Main Street. I see that you're the landlord on that property. Is that correct?
Yes.
I was just curious, because I am a broker. Have you ever considered to sell now that we're at the highest of the price? If I could bring you in a buyer that brought you the right price and terms, would you be interested?
Yes, it's funny that you called because I was thinking about selling my property.
Well, then, I wish I had more of those phone calls.
That actually happened. I had a couple of rental properties and I got rid of them because I didn't want to be a landlord anymore. And
Yeah.
that's how I got rid of mine.
All right. So do you see how easy it is to make that call?
Yes.
Okay. So now you just need to find the data. Do you know how to get the data?
No.
Okay. Leslie, can you do me a favor? Can you get Jolene and bring her on here and she can share with us how to get that data? Thank you. We'll get back to you on how to get the data, Terry.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I hope you guys all got a lesson right there. What was the last lesson that I hope that you got there? When I asked the question, do you know how to get the data? You know what I was really thinking? Boy, I hope so. I hope so. I hope so, because I have no idea. Why do I have no idea?
I'm not doing the description.
It's not in my CPI time. It's not in my CPI time. It's not in my job description. That's why I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I will find somebody who can get me that data. Now, I can do that for you guys as well. Like if I was your coach, I could do that through my resources. But me personally, what I'm going to help you do is I'm going to help you to succeed. I'm going to help you to stay on track. I'm going to help you to reach your goals. I'm going to help you to be able to get why you're doing what you're doing for you to be able to obtain that. Terry, we'll get back to you. We'll figure out how to get that done for you. Jerron, did I say your name correctly? Did you want to speak, Jerron? I knew somebody else was saying yes, but I couldn't see who it was. Is that not you?
Hi. No, it's
Hi.
my name is Jaren. So I know.
Jaren.
Hi. I really appreciate this class and everything. It's been really helpful, and it's kind of been eye-opening for me. I've been I'm jumping back in the game after health issues have, like a lot of people say they have had. For me, I kind of took a 6-month hiatus, so I'm really behind on my goals. But again, health reasons, you can't really avoid it. But I know my superpower is I'm a talker. I love talking. I can't help it. Just drawing in the topics correctly and not offending people because I'm a very blunt, direct person. Some people
Ooh.
don't like that. And
Blunt and direct.
yeah.
So how can you use your blunt directness to serve
Like
you?
I mean by that is I try to use it in a fair, honest way. I don't like sugarcoating stuff. I don't feel that's being respectful of the person. They don't deserve to have something sugarcoated if they're asking about their money, their family life. I think that's I try to use that appropriately as much as I can, but some people like it, some people don't.
Got it. Got it. Can I make a suggestion about that? But I want to get back to the tactic. Can I make a suggestion about that?
Sure.
You can still share what you believe is as a truth, and simultaneously at the same time believe whatever their perspective is true as well. And so when you're going to share something that's blunt, what I would typically do is say, you know what, you're absolutely 100% correct on that. And I'm just curious, have you ever considered this? And I found that helps with the bluntness. Now, how do you use your bluntness to find business?
I'm not sure because a lot of people don't like it. I've scared a couple people away when I've told them, it's like, I'm sorry, this is not your. I try to be polite about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, this place is not within your budget. Let's go look find out what your budget is first off, so we can make sure you're not getting in over your heads or pulling an HGTV moment, which is completely false. And then they go look at other brokers. They go look for other realtors.
Okay, but okay. So that would be on the initial, like when you're first meeting with them, like on the phone. At what point are you having that conversation when you're turning them away, turning them down, or whatever?
Well, I'm not turning them away. They're turning me away. They're firing me without even
At what point? At what point in the
because they want me to show them a home, and I'm like, I'll show you this home, but now that I've shown you this home, let's see if you want to prospecting.
Okay. So
sorry, my connection is really bad right now.
Yeah, it's really bad. So it is really bad. So let me, Jaren, let me talk to the group, and I'm going to use what you just shared as an example for everybody, if that's okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. You are freaking amazing. All right. So I was asking her questions about at what point in the process was she getting stuck where they would say, hey, I don't want to work with you, right? And typically what I find is as agents, we're looking for the outcome rather than what's the next step. I'll give you an example. I was working with one of my inside sales agents this morning, and the inside sales agent brought up to me an objection that she's been handling. She says, Dan, I'm getting this objection about interest rates. Has anybody here ever gotten that objection? Okay. Interest rates. That's the objection. What I asked her, remember, she's an inside sales agent. So what that means is, where is she in the process of the transaction? She's at the front entryway, right? So what I asked her, I said, well, when you're on that conversation with somebody and they tell you the objection about interest rates, what do you do? She says, well, I try to handle the objection. Try to handle the objection about interest rates. I said, okay, great. what is it that you want on that phone call? She said, to get to the next step. I said, well, what's the next step? The next step is to introduce them to a lender. So when you understand what the next step is, you suddenly no longer get stuck because I don't need to handle the interest rate conversation right now. I need to just get them to a lender. That's the next step. So now you get tools and resources to be able to handle it differently than talking them into buying when interest rates are high. Instead, you can say, you know what, I've got a lender. He specializes in X. He's got the special program with the best rates and terms in the business. I don't know if he can, if you could qualify for this or not, but I could tell you he's got these rates that far outperform the market. Would it be valuable if you just had a quick conversation with him just to find out? Yes, yes. So when I was going through with Jaron, it's you may be down here when you should be down here. You may be too far down the process, handling things far too far, rather than what's the next step in the journey. Because if I have a buyer right now and I'm telling them you can't buy a home or you can't buy this home, but they've not even hired me yet, I am so far over top of my skis that I am absolutely going to fall down the hill. Jolene, how do we find absentee owners?
All right. So,
Meet Terry. Terry, meet Jolene.
hello. So absentee owners, there's like a couple of ways where we can find absentee owners. So, but this is, this is actually like the free version of looking for absentee owner. So if you have Remine access, so most of the MLSs do have Remine. So we're using Remine, we're filtering it to absentee, in state and out of state. And then from there, we're actually collecting their information. So some of them will have phone numbers, some of them will not have any phone numbers. Now, this is where Foreign Warn will come in. So Foreign Warn is also a free service provided by MLS, but not all MLS is affiliated with Foreign Warn right now. So there are some states that does not have access to Foreign Warn. So Foreign Warn will allow you to do your skip tracing or get phone numbers of those potential buyers or sellers that you have. They will also Foreign Warn also includes like the property addresses that they're currently living in, those previous addresses that they have, so you can counter check whatever information that you got from Remine from Foreign Warn. So from there, we have already like a list of absentee owners.
Thank you, Julian. And you could also use Forewarn to check your boss's driving record and use
Yeah,
it
I
against
know.
them.
Yeah, and then screenshot it, and then if your boss will do something. So just kidding.
Thank you, Julene. Forewarn, F-O-R-E Warn. And Julene, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think Forewarn is actually through the realtors. So if you're a realtor, you have it. So that's not through your MLS. Am I wrong on that?
It's actually partnered with MLS as well. So it's the same like Remine. So there are some
Okay.
states that does not have Foreign Warn yet.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Terry, so those are two resources to be able to gather the data. If you don't have those two resources, there's still a way to do it. I just don't know the answer. Fair, but no, it can be done.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, thank you, Julian, for chiming in. So on Wednesday, we talked about finding the right way to do business. We talked about the framework of sales of how to go from an F off to a 5-star Zillow review. Then throughout the curriculum, we talked about what beats skill set. Consistency beats skill set. Activity beats skill set. Persistence beats skill set. Mindset beats skill set. Speed to process. I used to teach speed to lead when I first started teaching this course, but then I realized it's not speed to lead, it's speed to process. It's every single moment in time throughout the transaction. is freaking vital. Vital, vital, vital. So when you understand that, when you understand the speed to process, how quickly do you get the lender on the phone with them? Yesterday. How quickly do you consult them? Yesterday. How quickly do you get hired? Yesterday. Speed to process, because the longer the process goes, the more at risk you become, the more opportunity you have for you to never do a transaction. Have you ever been with a transaction that it was like 2-3 months down the road and you're still sort of toying around, and guess what? They end up never going to closing. That's common. If you're 2 or 3 months down the road, I would bet that that transaction will never close. And I don't care about the efforts that you put into it. The longer that that transaction goes without closing, the more likely it is to never close. The ability to never give up, the determination to never give up, that beats skill set. So if you believe I don't have the skill set, if you believe I'm not good enough, I want you to understand you are. I showed you my books the other day. One of these books over here is the one that fell apart on me, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Who here's read this book? Okay, a few of you have. Who here's heard of this book? Napoleon Hill, nearly a century ago, Andrew Carnegie commissioned Napoleon Hill to research over 500 self-made millionaires. These are people who, you know, a millionaire 100 plus years ago was like a billionaire today, all of which created their wealth themselves. These are people like Andrew Carnegie himself, like Henry Ford, like Charles M. Schwab. And what do you think that Mr. Hill, what do you think Napoleon Hill learned? He took 2 decades, by the way, to write this book, to do the study. What do you think he learned? He learned that there's commonalities of the top elite. There's commonalities of the successful. He learned that for every single person he interviewed, they all understood and they all believed that success starts, ends, in between, before and after. Success is all about you. Success is all about the faith that they had within themselves that they will succeed no matter what. And when you have faith, you will succeed. You'll have freedom of time. You'll have more money. You'll have clarity. You'll have respect. You'll have a reputation for being the best in your industry. Now, you may say, but Dan, but you sell 100 homes every single year. You're this, you're that. You're special. Am I? Am I really? Yeah, that's all true. I have sold 100 homes year after year after year after year. Absolutely. But am I really special? Remember, I'm just that drunk waiter who just happened to figure out how to make sales and who also 100% believes in himself. There's been times in my journey, there's been times in my life that I have been below zero. I've been $200,000 below zero. And when I was $200,000 below zero, you could not have told me, you could not have convinced me, you could not have talked me into anything other than, Dan, you are wealthy. Dan, you're rich. You could have talked me out of it. You could not talk me out of the fact that I was wealthy and rich. Not just in life, not just in spirituality, not just in relationship, but even in money. Even when I have $200,000 in debt, I'm still a rich man. Okay? Because I had that belief. And I want you to have that belief as well. I want you to have that prerogative. I want you to be that bold. I want you to believe in yourself. On Thursday, we went through a scientific hack for you to be the best version of yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, and when you know why you're selling real estate, and when you know how to sell real estate, and if you're still struggling on that, that's okay. No sweat at all. If you're still struggling over, like, I'm not exactly sure exactly what to do, set up a one-on-one with me. I'm happy to coach you. I'm happy to take some time. I'm not going to charge you for that. Set up a one-on-one with me, and we'll talk and we'll come up with a way if you're interested. Because when you believe in yourself, when you know why you're doing what you're doing, when you know why that's important to you, when you know how, then nothing, absolutely, positively, nothing can stop you. You guys got that? Do you guys all hear that? I want you to make sure you get this from this 5-day presentation. That you get, that's the ingredients right there. That's the point blank, that's the blunt. I've been told I'm blunt as well. That's the point blank, here's the directions. Believe in yourself. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Know why that's important to you. Know what your superpowers are. Find out how to make sales, how to find business, not what to do once you get the business. You take those ways of being and you align it with how to get business, not how to serve business, how to get it. Then you put that in action and you will succeed. I guarantee it. I want to share with you a video about somebody who is a CPI, one of my CPI students who went full time and who had faith in herself, but at first was scared. I want to share that with you.
I'm a fairly new realtor. I've been in the business for about four months.
I'm a realtor, but I'm also a wholesaler.
I think the one thing that's missing from my business,
I'm not really very consistent.
organization of time.
That's right. Consistency is what I'm really looking at. I'm a one-man show.
Have I been consistent with my prospecting? Absolutely not.
I was lost because I was trying many things.
I'm selling real estate right now because I have.
It's hard, and I've spent a lot of years going 2 steps forward.
There are a lot of things I could have done differently.
5 steps backwards, and
There was no direction, what to adopt and what to leave and
I'm intimidated not being able to speak the language.
where to start and where to go.
2 weeks ago when I took your 5-day challenge, you say just pick up the phone and just...
The 3 strategies that Dan taught, my favorite one was picking up the phone or texting for sale by owners.
I am at that point of, I know when I focus on this and hire you as my mentor, I'm going to go big and just leave my regular job.
Found my way, and in my first consultation, Dan discovered where my strengths are. So him and I together, we realized it, and mine is video.
I think the one goal was to focus in on just one thing. Like Doug decided that he wanted to do the for sale by owners program, and I was doing the Facebook part of it.
in the 5-day challenge, I really learned that there's a simpler pathway to consistency.
And so after he talked about 2 weeks ago, I actually just went and got 3 listings.
By doing so, I had been making video consistently for a year. Since the program, I've doubled my income, and most of it, hey, hold your socks here, have been in my boxers.
I've been with Dan since 2015, but there, like what JJ says, the timing wasn't right. I had to put my efforts and my mind and all my energy into fixing my home, and a lot of stuff that are really serious, and that has passed. But the thing with me was I never gave up with real estate, even though I had to do it part-time. I knew in my heart this is the place where I'm at, so I never gave up. But I'm getting ready to go full-time.
Since that video, March there, who was the lady who started and finished, she has become full-time since that video. And she's still a single mom, and she's having success. She's having great success. In fact, I talk to her regularly because she's a member of the CPI community. I see her pretty much every day as a member when we interact and when I coach and mentor. In fact, I saw her just 4 hours ago. So before I share with you 10 things that will cost you no money and no money and no effort and no skill set, I do want to remind you that Zachary Beach is coming in at 1 p.m. That's in 6 minutes, and he's going to talk about harnessing the creative financial strategies during times that are uncertain, like they are right now, financial times. And so if you're looking for strategies to be able to share with your people, with your buyers, with your sellers, then hang tight here. We're going to have We're going to open this up to the public at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We do that every single Friday, where we have a thought leaders mastermind where I bring in a top 1% of 1% coach from across the country. I've brought in people like Sean Kokoska. I brought in Krista May Shore, Gogo Bethke, I think is how we say Gogo's last name. And so I bring in a lot of really, really fantastic speakers every single Friday. If you want to know more about what the CPI community is, there it is right there on that slide deck. And if you're interested in learning more about that, then hit me up, and you can get what's listed here, but mostly what you get when you join the CPI community is you get me in your back pocket. I'll be your right-hand man. I'll provide you with guidance, with coaching, with mentorship. I'll actively listen to you. I'll share with you the 40 or 50,000 hours of experience that I have in this industry that you can lean into. And I'll be your right-hand man. Put me to work for you. So if you're interested in finding out more about the CPI community, I encourage for you to reach out. Les will put a link in there. You can set up a one-on-one call with me. I'd love to be able to learn more about you, share with you how I can help you. And there are programs that cost you $0, depending on your situation. I'll be your eye in the sky. When the pilots started flying in the 1920s and they were delivering mail across the country, they would use these bonfires, at the base of the ground, to be able to navigate. So CPI, the Consistent Predictable Income Community, Dan Roshan, that's me. We will be your bonfire. We will show you the way so that you just follow the pathway. And we'll even bring you fuel and water and snacks to keep you up there in the air. So I'll be your right-hand man. I'll provide you, the training, seven trainings a week. They're live. You also get the on-demand training, and you'll know how to achieve results. And if you just need a kick in the rear end, I'll give you that kick as well. So it could be scary to approach real estate sales without the help that you need to be able to succeed. And I'm going to help you discover your way. So if you're still struggling with that, that's what I'm here for. That's more of a one-on-one conversation. I would appreciate the opportunity to be able to guide you through that. And whether if you're still looking to discover your way or you just need that kick in the butt, I'd love to be able to kick you appropriately, get you off those roller coasters and help you leave behind that legacy that you deserve to leave behind. So go ahead and set up a one-on-one with me. And as I finish off here, I want to share with you about 10 things that cost you zero talent and zero money if you're ready for that. So here are those 10 things. Number 1, be on time. You control whether you're on time or not. Number 2, work ethic. Your willingness to work hard, your willingness to be focused, your willingness to stay on task. You're in charge of that. Passion. They say that the one with the greatest passion is the one that's always going to win. The ability to do extra. Do one more. Do one more. Do one more. Whenever you think you're ready to quit, do one more. Just one. Be prepared. When you prepare, I had my former father-in-law. He bought a $150,000 Jaguar. He's a multimillionaire. He comes home with it one day, seemingly off the whim. I said to him, "Hey, Len," I said, have you been preparing to buy that? And he looks at me, he says, "All my life, Dan, all my life." Right. And it was probably one of those profound things that he ever shared with me, because I realized, this man's been preparing this his entire life. And he went to work this morning, work, I said quotation marks, but he went to work this morning. He comes home with another $150,000 car to put in with the rest of his $150,000 cars because he's prepared. He prepared his entire life. Your attitude. You control your attitude. You control when it's raining outside, just like we talked the other day. Man, that sucks. Or let's be joyful. You control your body language. You can come in with that powerful body language, or you can be depressed. You control your effort. You control your energy, and you control your ability to be coachable. With that, I want to congratulate you and thank you for joining And don't forget to register for the upcoming CPI certification at getnobrokemonths.com. And that's the end of the presentation. I'm going to bid you farewell, but I'm going to invite for you to stay for the Thought Leaders Mastermind, which is starting in 30 seconds. If you're leaving us, I'm going to wish that you have the best day of your life. Be grateful, make good choices, go help somebody, and go find a listing. If you're staying on, hello.